Okay, so I want to welcome everyone tonight for this, either tonight or this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are, for an information session about the Summer University, which is sponsored for 25 years. And we were just talking that I was able to see her since the founding of Summer University. It's wonderful to see how that's grown. And Sasha Stokvich, who is the head of the Secretariat, the manager of the Secretariat at the Central European University for OSUN. I do want to say to people that Sasha and Ava will make a presentation. If you have questions, I ask you to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. You could post questions there, and Ava and Sasha can see those and post responses as appropriate. They have put in the chat function, which I think you can see, their email addresses as well. So if you have follow-up emails, you can ask that. I do want to say again, this is directed towards the Summer University 2020-2021, so a year from this summer. There will be adapted courses this summer for which many people from OSUN Network have already applied, and some of which will participate virtually. But without further ado, why don't we turn it over to Ava and Sasha, who will run the session. And thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I don't know, for a few moments I couldn't hear you, so probably you didn't address the question of the similarity of the names, Sun and OSUN. So we have to agree on, these are two different entities and the pronunciation is different. We are Summer University Sun, and then the other one is this Open Society University Network, and it's pronounced, as far as I know, OSUN, right? Not OSAN or something like that. Okay, so this partnership is really, as you can see, is a very intimate one. Even our names are very closely married in a way. So yes, you mentioned the 25th anniversary, which we would have celebrated if times had been different, we would celebrate it with the live, happy Summer University crowd gathering another 11, another 15, another 13, etc. But this year, it's not going to happen, although with your support, and thank you very much for that, with OSUN's support, we are going to be able to convert altogether 4 courses into live, and then there will be 2 other ones which will be originally have been designed to be not live, sorry, converted into virtual. So altogether this summer we are going to probably offer 6 courses. Now we are inviting you actually to sort of spread the word around in your networks about these courses. We are building the revised websites for those courses. So in about a week or so, we hope to be able to re-advertise the courses and reopen the admission to those courses, the virtual ones. It's quite a challenge to do that, because the beauty of a summer school, and hopefully you will savor that kind of beauty yourselves at some point if there's some collaboration in the future between us, is to be there physically and enjoy all the extracurricular events that bond people so successfully, etc., etc. But this kind of challenge to convert the courses into this online environment is also exciting, to be honest. So we are also thinking about it as kind of an opportunity that we want to exploit and see how we can learn from this and how we can develop new things and explore new things. Now we have invited to this session some of our previous collaborators, partners of Summer University, prospective partners that I thought might be interested in exploring this opportunity to work with OSUN partners, and also the new network members as well. First, I'm going to introduce a little bit the Summer University, then, and we'll change places with Sasha, and Sasha will explain a little bit about the new network. Now, how is the sun different from summer school? So when you want to define something, very often it's a convenient way of explaining it, what it is not. So what is the summer school not? What are we not? We are different a little bit from the regular summer school, for example, that US campuses would be familiar with. Like people go to those summer schools to accelerate their studies, together collect more credits to be able to finish earlier, maybe. Not all such summer schools are there. I mean, some summer schools, of course, are different in the US as well. But so we are not that kind of summer school. Primarily, we're doing something else. Also, we are not exactly a replica of what CEU does during the year, which is another exciting and interesting opportunity for collaboration maybe with us, because you can also do with us something that CEU normally does, but we can also be some kind of an exploratory space for which both the university might be grateful and the collaborating partners. So who are we then? In a positive way, how do we define ourselves? So we are primarily an outreach program of the CEU. We are the sort of the extended arm of the university, inviting people together and get a taste of what CEU can offer, its expertise, its mission. And we basically offer in a very comprised form of a week or two, what CEU normally offers during a year or 2 years or 5 years. So we are this sort of a bit of a taste of what CEU is. And as I said, even occasionally more or different than that. We are not only doing academic training, research, but we are also doing professional training, which again is a CEU does that partly in the School of Public Policy, but it's not what CEU is most known for. In the summer school, the sort of the proportion between academic and professional training is almost 50-50% nowadays. So a lot of our courses address professional training needs. Another thing that in which the summer program is a little bit different, we are more quick to respond to needs, because we don't have like a set department and programs and accreditation, which has sometimes advantages, of course, because you can issue those credits. We do offer actually ECTS credits though, but not the CEU credits. But we are quick to respond to needs, to interests, so something that is happening in the world. You can more easily create a group of people to teach something addressing very current issues and needs than the universities are slower, more cumbersome, has a slower machinery normally. Who is our target audience then? So who are the people who attend the summer school courses? Again, a mixed audience, graduate students primarily, postdoctoral fellows, junior faculty, early career researchers, and professionals from various relevant fields that we operate in or that we teach in. A new, perhaps, development is in line with how CEU is also going forward in undergraduate education, that the summer school is also thinking of broadening this kind of audience. So we might want to reach out to undergraduates as well in various ways. We are thinking of creating perhaps a special undergraduate track in the future in the program. And again, this cooperation might contribute to that effort. And we are also trying to perhaps invite a couple of and include a couple of study trips, study tours in our repertoire or in what we offer. The course formats, you might wonder about that. So what does a course really look like? The course formats, so short intensive course is usually 1 week long or between 1 and 2 weeks, might be 8 days, whatever number of days within that time frame, usually held in June, July. But again, we are beginning to open that up to other months as well, like study tours in spring or or maybe, so, you know, we could, even winter schools have come up on our horizon, but there's no such proposal yet, but who knows what's happening later. We have the other distinctive feature that we have is that we have teams of faculty. So it's not really a one-man show or one-woman show. This is, there's somebody like a proposal author, or we call them eventually a course director, who puts together a team and they teach together, in the sense that they tend to sit in on each other's sessions in when the course is happening. And that adds a lot of excitement and interest on the part of the students. They appreciate all the faculty being around, being accessible, hearing them live, the way thoughts are being formed and discussed, and in the breaks, etc., etc. This extracurricular element anyway adds a lot to the summer school feeling, so that they go out for a beer and end up talking about philosophy or changes in the world until 2 in the morning, and then come back to school a little tired maybe, but after having a really rich experience. What else about the format? Usually the enrollment number is in the range of 20 to 25, occasionally even more, if the director decides so. Something about the impact maybe. These courses are short, so you would assume that the impact cannot be that much or that long lasting, but we hear otherwise. So students and faculty, both sort of segments of the summer school, tend to report back that these relationships that they have started during this short but very intensive experience have really lasted way beyond the summer school. I'm not going to bore you with student testimonials or faculty testimonials. They are on our website, but people tend to be really, many of them, very grateful for what they have received here. And it's much more than just a week's worth of an experience. Actually, before the summer school, we tend to set up a site where we post the readings, so they already start preparing before they come. And if the courses have enough resources, they might give them assignments, put them into discussion groups before they come. Actually, maybe the online things that we are preparing now, with your help, with Austin's help, might be used in this way next year for the same course. So there's some pre-course preparation, in very intensive instruction during the actual course. And then there's a post-life of the course as well. People stay in touch with the Facebook groups that they created before or during the course. They notify each other about conferences and sometimes publish jointly, etc. So lots of things that we hear back from them. I think maybe you might be interested in a few numbers as well, perhaps not many, and that's the end of my little presentation. Just the scope of the program. We normally have around 15 courses every year, around 1,000 applicants or applications, 400, 500 participants, again, the usual CEU, amazing statistics from over 90 countries. And the faculty members, they also come from more than 30 countries across the board. So these are just the basic things. And I would hand over to Sasha to introduce Osun, and then I will respond to your questions as we go along. Sasha.
Thank you very much, Eva. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your interest. And I would also like to start by thanking Eva for being such an excellent collaborator, thinking partner, and the person who, you know, challenges and has lots of great ideas, and who is really extremely open-minded about this this thing that we're trying out here. So I have prepared some slides which I can also share. I guess we'll find a way to do that, just to give you some basics of what is it that we're trying to do with Osun and the Summer University, and how it's relevant, what's the purpose of it. I hope you have, or you can see the slides. So the reason we thought that at this very sort of initial stage of OSUN development and building partnerships, Summer University, CEU Summer University is a really fitting platform for us to use for collaboration, is because, as Eva said, it has been a mainstay of CEU. It's a well-established brand. It's a popular program that exhibits all priorities and sense of mission that is very compatible with what OSUN is founded on. Again, as Eva already said, it's a flexible, open, user-friendly format that allows to experiment, that allows to try different combinations of target groups, different combinations of faculty contributors, and also think about different objectives and outcomes compared to sort of more traditional, more sort of curriculum-rooted academic programs. It's a fairly comfortable scale, working with small groups of participants, small groups of faculty, and allows to address their needs more specifically, allows to be more really useful to them for different purposes in their career development with which they come to this program. What is particularly interesting and attractive for OSUN is that it allows to experiment with different models of curriculum and with different innovations which sort of tested and fine-tuned through these short courses could become the mainstay of individual institutions or OSUN's shared curriculum. It's a great networking tool, and we really hope that we, in this year's courses, but especially developing courses for the next year, we will build some partnerships in specific subject areas, themes across OSUN network. We also hope that it will not be a one-time focus. The focus will not be on coming together and doing something just for 1 week or 2 weeks of the course, but this work will be further integrated and will have continuity in terms of various OSUN programs. We are, of course, interested in putting OSUN on the map, and this is one easy way to attract students, professionals, civil society leaders to come to us to learn, exchange, and bring their own experience. And of course, I think for the Summer University, and here I speak for Eva, and she will agree or disagree. I think for Summer University, this is also a way to try new things after 25 years, to reach out as well to new audiences, and to start doing things which are a lot more adventurous and maybe a little more resource intensive, because even though it's a great program, I do not think it had been flooded with funding, especially in the past couple of years. The CEU is going through its own very difficult transition. So I definitely know it's a welcome, it's the welcome support, not just networks, but also the resources that OSUN is bringing to the Summer University. How we would be looking at developing these joint courses and partnerships, through what priorities we will be considering them. Well, first of all, the project proposals should be not only sensitive to, but should be, well, as explicit as possible about the OSUN mission. I'm not giving an introduction to OSUN because I assume a lot of them, if not all of you, know OSUN and have participated in earlier discussions and webinars. But if you don't, I posted the OSUN website address in the chat. Please come check us out. And it's not a whole lot of information that we have online at the moment, but you will see the definition of mission, priorities for programs, for themes, the list of partner institutions, and also some examples of the projects that could possibly inspire you. There is a list of priority themes and fields for OSUN, which is here on the screen. In addition to these fields, we also believe that OSUN could be a really good venue to discuss the issues in higher education and development of higher education in the context of open society. OSUN is really looks at itself as we would like to say, a creative disruption in existing higher education hierarchies, networks, and ways of access and delivery. And through this summer university, we would like to bring together colleagues from different institutions, students from different institutions who could talk about their experience with higher education, the access, the pedagogy, and especially in the light of latest challenges, the ability of higher education institutions to respond to crisis, and very centrally to the OSUN mission, models of civic engagement and public profiles of universities as sort of conduits, advocates, and active actors in the open society. As Eva already said, the summer university courses are usually interdisciplinary. They of course can have theoretical, normative, methodological discussions, but I think the value for a lot of participants is in the kind of marrying the very sort of normative, the knowledge aspects, the theoretical aspects of the subject that these courses discuss with the sort of the lived experience of the participants, whichever sectors of academia or practice they come from. And also even during the summer university courses, it's really exciting to sort of take learning outside of the classroom, to have an engaged classroom, to have site visits to local civil society organizations, to do field research wherever the summer course is taking place. Well, usually, and so far it's been Budapest. But again, this idea that this format allows you to try out different pedagogical approaches in and outside the classroom is really attractive for us to sort of to push, to try to experiment, and to then, after this experience, have a discussion among ourselves about how this could be supported in a more systematic and cross-institutional way under OSUN. It is a great addition, I think, this year that we are advertising for the possibility of offering dedicated undergraduate courses. They can be advanced undergraduate, they can be mixed groups. Again, this is up to your vision, up to your specific sort of idea, need, and relevance. But we would hope that the undergraduate courses, especially that will be developed through this program, will become integrated into the OSUN curricula as shared courses, as network courses, whatever we may call them, and also have some kind of academic credit thinking feeding into this to make sure that this activity is not a sort of add-on on its own, but is fully integrated into a longer term OSUN academic work, teaching and learning. It's a great add-on, this opportunity to come together for a week in mixed groups of faculty, students across institutions to integrate this into your other OSUN ongoing projects and programs. Use this as planning opportunities among the faculty. Use this again as practice of methods and modules that you are developing in your other projects. And then again, we are open and hopeful and optimistic, and hopefully we will be able to give you adequate support in case you would decide to try out not sort of a bit less traditional mode of delivery, where these courses could be co-hosted by several different universities in some blended format, even fully online delivery is also welcome. That does not necessarily have to be a face-to-face in Budapest or anywhere. So again, here we leave the door wide open, and we really hope for to hear from you about what sort of formats would be most logical, most sensible, and helpful to you for your specific subject and specific groups that you want to engage in. What does OSUN collaboration constitute in terms of this summer university program? Again, it's a relatively general statement, and there could be some variations, but not really tremendous variations, though, that the course ideally should be co-directed, co-developed, co-conceived, and co-delivered by a CEU faculty, a staff member, and a staff or faculty member from at least one other OSUN partner university. External contributors are certainly welcome and encouraged. OSUN very much wants to be an open network, a network that embraces interest and contribution and desire to stay from non-OSUN partners. And the same goes for the group of participants. We do not imagine that these courses, in fact, we do not encourage you to think of courses that would be only relevant and interesting to OSUN constituencies, but the courses that would have wide relevance, wider attraction, that could also bring revenue, that could also bring fee-paying participants from outside the network. I will talk about the financing for all this in a minute. Again, ideally, it would be great if these projects were not only about 1 week or 2 weeks of interaction in the summer of 2021, but that they were part of longer term plan and ambition. Also that they should be, that whatever work goes into planning these projects has utility beyond the summer university course. That again, it can have implications for regular curriculum. It produces specific models, resources, and teaching approaches that could be, again, used creatively in the ongoing OSUN programs. The funding that OSUN is or will consider, there is no cap, there is no specific dedicated amount at the moment. I think we will be as sort of positively responsive as our general funding sort of scope allows. We are interested in looking at and trying out different kinds of projects because it's our first year and we want to be adventurous if we can afford it. But what OSUN would cover at this point, this is what our sort of shared understanding is that we will provide support for the design and delivery of the courses in 2021. That would include some stipends or fees to the faculty who will be developing and delivering the course. This would also cover travel, accommodations, visas where necessary for the faculty who will be coming to the face-to-face, the residential sessions. And in addition to that, the technical support if necessary. I will talk later about the institutional support for this. But also we would provide dedicated scholarship for OSUN participants. And again, this is a very kind of general suggestion here, but I think that we would probably go out to 50% of your group of participants who should be OSUN affiliates, students, faculty, staff, who we would support. But we would also, as I already said, hope that your projects would be attractive and open to non-OSUN participants, some of whom at least would be able to pay tuition. There is no specific budget template for OSUN. In terms of all the application materials, you should use regular application form and guidelines and budgeting guidelines that SUN website lists for all of its regular submissions. So in that sense, there is no separate OSUN structure for applications. And yes, we strongly encourage and expect institutional contributions from the OSUN institutions, from the OSUN universities, especially if these would be shared courses, multi-campus courses. We hope that the host universities, the OSUN universities, would be able to open their infrastructure, teaching and learning resources that they have available, technology, some of the support staff time towards facilitating these projects. And then I think what's important for all of you to know is that our wonderful Summer University office at CEU has a lot of experience, tools, and limitless energy and patience, providing the basic institutional support to the courses that are hosted in Budapest. There is a dedicated website for applications. There is centralized application review and selection system. And there is, of course, a system for disbursing scholarships to those participants who apply and get the financial aid. I already said the standard SUN application materials should be used. However, and this is also in the chat, there is a link to the website to a brief 2 or maybe 3-page document that explains, well, pretty much the parameters of OSUN-SUN collaboration that I have discussed in the past 15 minutes. That you can find there, and the plan, the application for SUN, for the SUN course, should reflect. You should have in mind the OSUN priorities and interests as you are developing and presenting your project in the application form. There is the first deadline is May 15, is for those of you who would like to share your draft proposals with us and get feedback on how it's going and have time to adjust and come up with revisions or new ideas before the final deadline, the final project proposal deadline on June 8th. After that, the SUN board will take its regular course. All the applications will be selected competitively by the Summer University board. And the projects that they will endorse from among those from OSUN partners, they will be then considered by the OSUN Management Committee for funding. And we hope that we will have the final responses ready for you before the end of September, so that you can go then you can proceed with the final program design and prepare the call for applications for the participants. And the deadline for that is usually March, the following spring, so March 2021. The course period, as Eva said, is usually last week of June until the end of July, first week of August, but we would consider variations, especially as we discussed the possibility of having courses targeting undergraduate students starting earlier, immediately after their end of academic year dates, before they leave the campuses and countries wherever they are for the summer. So there is flexibility. Again, we encourage you to consider what's best for your project. Explain to us in the proposals what sort of choices you are making based on your specific targets and specific objectives, and let us know. Here are emails and the website of the Summer University call for 2021. It's also in the chat, and we'll very much look forward to hearing from you before May 15, hopefully. And then by June 8, we'll be waiting for your proposals. Well, thank you very much. I will stop sharing the screen Here we are.
So it's Jonathan speaking. So if you have questions, I've reposted. I'm not sure if the chat function is working. So if you look at the Q&A, you will see both links to the emails of Ava and Sasha and the website again, which is up there. There is a question which is unanswered about credit. And the question is, do all summer university courses qualify for academic transfer credit, or does it depend on the framing of the specific course? And let me just pause before Sasha answers that. Please feel free to pose questions. Use the Q&A function if you could, please.
Yes, well, there is Q&A, and then there is also chat separately. So, and that chat, I think it records all the posts. So it's not the same window. For the academic transfer credit, it's discussion in progress. Summer University does, as a rule, provide ECTS, European Credit Transfer System, credit certificates. The value of those is that they can be considered by the home institutions of the students towards any credit. So there is already this approach. Eva can tell you what sort of weight these courses have in terms of ECTS credits. There are obviously accreditation implications for issuing credits of particular entity, particular university, be it CEU, and in CEU's case, there's a further complication of us having a Hungarian, American, Austrian entity. I think for this year, it is fair to say that we will have, as always, ECTS credit certificates, which the students can present to their universities, their home universities, for credit transfer. But depending on the scale of demand for institutional credits, for CEU credits, for example, we will initiate that process for the years later on, from 2022 and on, that we have. Again, this goes in line with our wish to make this as well integrated part of the academic collaboration and the curricular collaboration between us and universities as possible. And obviously, credit transfer is an important consideration here.
Sasha, do you want to, there's a question about how you identify people at CEU with whom to work. I'll ask Agata's question, which is about, can this build off of other OSUN proposals? The answer is, sure, of course it can. I think it's important to apply separately to SUN though. There may be other opportunities for summer programs, some of which we're looking at, but if it's going to be SUN, you need to apply through SUN discreetly for this. I think the other question that was posed was about, which maybe Sasha and Ava can ask, one of the requirements is a CEU participant. How do we find them?
Yeah, okay. A couple of things about the application procedure, maybe a few finer points that we haven't mentioned so far. So once the application arrives, and it's a new application, Sasha and I will both sort of preliminary look at it, and it's a consultative process. So we are always at your service. So once you have an idea, you have a draft proposal. So it goes through various iterations before it's finally really submitted officially. So don't worry about, consulting us. We're happy to nurture the proposal or be of help, if you like. That's one thing. After it's officially submitted, you can actually skip this consultation. So if you are running out of time, don't think like, okay, I'm too late, I cannot do it by May 15th, then just, you will not then participate in this feedback that the SUN board will give looking at the draft proposals, but just submit the full version then. We are just trying to save people some effort and work by offering this option that send us the concept with a bit of, and then flesh it out later, but let the board look at it.
Hello. I don't know if we
I can hear you, Sasha. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's just Eva that's frozen. So I will take a few more questions here. about track 4, that there are no application deadlines, guidelines. There are no separate, so this is, these are standard annual kind of tracks for the summer university. In fact, track 4, we have integrated it into, there are no tracks in the Osun Sun proposal guidelines. You should all apply with the track 1 package of materials, and track 4 is integrated into that one. For getting, so first of all, in terms of getting, setting up partnerships or reaching out to your partners, I would suggest that you do some basic search on websites of the institutions. If you do have specific subject and a bit of a, at least a paragraph description of the kind of project that you have in mind, you can certainly send it to me, and we will get back with some advice, with some suggestions. What about the discipline of economics? I don't think that it's excluded. It depends on the formulation. I don't think sort of the standard, let's say, econometric courses or economic theory courses. Well, actually, economic theory can be turned into the discussion of inequalities and the development disparities, etc. I'm not an economist, but I believe that any economics course, other than sort of very technical mathematical economics courses, can be formulated in a way to fit into or to sort of associate itself with one of the thematic priorities of Osun.
So I wanted to say something. We're getting a lot of questions about how do I connect with people across the network? How do things evolve? And I think it's important to note a couple of things. First of all, we're very early in the days of Osun. So Osun was announced at the end of January, and at the end of February, beginning of March, we met COVID. So our original plans had a lot of organizational meetings right now, which were designed to set up a series of Osun programs and so forth. That is not happening for obvious reasons. So we're moving a variety of things online, and this webinar is an example of the types of activities that will be unfolding over the next several months. These includes meetings, which we've been holding bi-weekly, of chief academic officers and deans and so forth of Osun institutions. I would say right now that I will post this in the Q&A. If any of you have not seen the faculty resources webpage, which is at osun.bar.edu, osun.bar.edu, you'll find a number of amazing materials for helping the transition online. So some of the questions are about how do I link with other Osun faculty? And we're working out those mechanisms now, but for now I'm going to post 2 email addresses, which are the Osun information emails at CEU and BARD, so we can help work with you to identify appropriate faculty as we're working out more systematic measures for this. I will also say that SUN is one program that we will be running next summer. It is highly likely that in addition to the SUN programs that are being offered next summer, that there will be some short arranged programs that will be offered this summer to people beyond SUN, for which an application process will be developing in the coming days. And also there may be Osun activities in the summer which are not related to SUN. What these are the ones related to SUN, which has a 25-year history of success, and which I think is a great way of integrating activities with CEU, which is one of the core partners. So I hope that helps answer some of those questions and the trajectory of things. Again, we're working out systems of communication and pushing out ideas. I would encourage you to go to the, I think the osun.bar.edu website is probably the most updated one, and there's a lot of information there about various opportunities. So we thank you for your interest, and I think that it's important that to recognize that we're sort of putting out the COVID fires while planning a lot of really exciting and interesting activities. We're thrilled that SUN is continuing this summer. and that you have the opportunity now to think about next summer already. There may be other questions. I think one question about English is the normal language of instruction. Are there precedents for holding SUN programs in multiple languages?
Well, I would say that that entirely depends on the group of participants you target and you think you're able to recruit. English, I mean, the language of proposals is of course English, and I think English should be at least one of the languages in which the resources are developed, because the value for a SUN, well, a SUN is at the moment limited to English, although we are of course thinking of ways on how to open that up. It may be tricky this year, it should be easier in the future years.
Ava, maybe you can answer the question, how many faculty are normally on a team?
Yeah, there's a range of
1 2-week period.
There's a range of, like, 3, 4, 5 to almost like 9, depending also on the length and on the sort of structure and format of the course. So we've seen that range. But I mean, pedagogically, it's probably more useful to keep it at a manageable size of like 5, 6 faculty members, especially if you really want an interaction among them. I'm sorry, my computer froze, so I went onto my telephone. And I just wanted to add, just finish my thought when I got frozen, was that after we have received the proposals, we send them out for external evaluation. It's like a peer review process for a publication. So 2 independent reviewers look at the material that you put together for the course, and then together with those evaluations, the board, the Some University board, will eventually decide. The board is chaired by Liviu Matei, our provost, and Michael Ignatieff, the rector, participates in the discussions, and ex officio, the pro-rector for social sciences and humanities, and a couple of other CEU faculty members.
I want to add just one comment about the number of faculty participating in the course. What is important here is that you do not view the faculty as people flying in for a fixed number of hours to give their own lecture or presentation and then be gone. I mean, you can have sort of adjuncts, you can have more of a kind of public lectures from colleagues here available here in Budapest or at whatever location you will be running the course from. But the idea is that these groups are collaborative and that the participants are there together all the time, and the faculty, as many of them, are there all the time too, as many of them as possible, because it's all about it's about building interdisciplinarity, and it's also about practicing interdisciplinarity by the contributing academics.
And also about access to the faculty. So for example, last year we had the music course, and they're really famous faculty person from England. He participated in the field trip as well at the weekend, and students tremendously enjoyed the opportunity to hang out with him and having those conversations continue in the field trip as well. I mean, it's not always the case that people have the time and the energy to sort of really be fully engaged to this level, but quite a few times, yes. So most often they do, and we do encourage this.
Yes, I think collective singing in the field is one of the expectations of every course.
So can you repeat the timeline again, just because there's a variety of questions which touch on that. There's a preliminary proposal, review, and so forth. Can you just go over that one more time, please?
Right. So May 15th is if you send us the draft proposal, so you and then we do describe what a draft proposal consists of on the website. Not huge. It is just really the concept of the planned faculties with CVs, and even that can change later for the full proposal, but just to give us an idea where your thinking is or what your thinking is, and the sort of budgeting. Okay, now that we collect those and then submit all these materials to the Some University board for a preliminary check and feedback and ideas. And then, thank you, Sasha, for sharing that slide. Yeah. And then the board will give you some feedback and flag some issues if they have some issues perhaps with the proposal. And then we will ask you to supposing the board says it's a great idea, go ahead, work on it more. Then you will submit the full proposal by June the 7th. And then comes this next step that I mentioned, that we will have to send it out for external evaluation. And for the external evaluation, we will also sort of glean the most important remarks and things to improve perhaps, and send it back to you. Send those remarks and comments back to you, and you can improve a little bit further for the board meeting. The board meeting normally takes place at the beginning of, a little bit later than end of September, normally at the beginning of October. And then we will communicate the decision to the proposal authors. Sasha, anything you might want to add?
No, I think that's fairly accurate. On the again, I want to repeat on the partnerships, identifying partners at CEU. Please feel free to write to us, and we will do our best to send you some suggestions. We cannot guarantee that the colleagues at CEU would respond positively, you know, because it's, well, you know, it's a difficult time for everyone, and also for CEU there is a slight additional layer of complexity with the move to Vienna, and this summer all faculty and staff, most of them having to figure out moving actually physically to Vienna, so that could be an obstacle. But again, I think for those of you who have ongoing OSUN projects and who have some CEU contributors, that's probably a good place to start. And not only in terms of developing a course within your project for the summer university, but asking CEU faculty for leads to other colleagues who they could recommend, who they know are enthusiastic and interested in this kind of collaboration.
Great.
It is unfortunate. We thought that we will have a quick round of introductions and have everyone say what subjects they're interested in, but it doesn't have to be live. We can do it. We can do it in the chat, or you have our email, so please use that channel.
There's about 45 participants, or has been, so that might take a while. I will say that we'll put the PowerPoint up if Sasha so agrees, which I'm sure he will, on the OSUN webpage, and the links, and you have the emails as well. There was one question about faculty stipends. I don't know if you got to that. The question is, and I will say, all I know is that this is not a means of making a lot of money. So whatever it is, it has to be about love of teaching, and maybe Eva and Sasha could speak to that.
Well, the CEU budgets are really almost like, I have to be honest here, symbolic for the effort that our faculty has put into developing the course and delivering it. They tend to do it out of interest and out of interest in each other's work, because sometimes coming to the summer school is also a way for them to interact and think up further projects in which they can collaborate. So the money is very modest. I think OSUN is a little bit in a better position maybe to offer slightly higher salaries than our average normally used to be or are, but it's hard to probably say at this stage, like give you figures, actual figures. The summer university budgets, the sample budget that we posted on the website, I think mentions something like 400 or something, like a lump sum amount for someone's teaching. If there are external sources and we try to work on them, like the Visegrad Fund, for example, supports some of our courses, or other organizations help them, or you know, research grants, something, then it can be higher, but it's not a money-making venture for sure.
Well, I would try to, you know, sweeten the deal at least a little bit, not to encourage you to just send us your sort of your desired salary level, but I want to say that based on the figures, the suggested figures that we were looking at, that we received from the summer university, I think the budgets that we are approximately tentatively considering as sort of average support package for a course like this would probably include something, well, under $1,000, like in the range of $500 to $1,000 for a faculty contributor, well, depending on whether they do, I don't know, a full course or 2 or 3 days out of a week. So you can certainly budget with those in mind. We will get there. We will get to the budgeting questions after we have. For us, it's important to receive the concept proposals. And then when we know the number of the projects that we're looking at, it will be easier for us to have the discussion internally of what sort of range of funding we can dedicate to this program for next year.
We have just received a question about the housing. So that's something very often we house faculty in the Wallenberg Guest House, which is a beautiful, very pleasant accommodation near in the historical castle area, something like 20 minutes walk from CEU maybe. So it's nice and comfortable. So that's a bit of a plus on the so even if the salary is not very high, but at least the surroundings is very pleasant, and of course travel is also covered. So faculty mobility is always built in the budgets. Yes.
Let me say just one more idea though. So as you know, because of problems with Zoom bombing, we've made this in a webinar, which makes it a little bit less interactive than I think Sasha and Ava would like. What we might try to do is hold a drop-in session. We're trying to capture the names of the attendees. I think I could do that fairly easily. And we'll send those of you for whom we have an email, or if you email the addresses we've sent, we could set up a drop-in session so you can have a live chat with Sasha and Ava, assuming that they're willing, in the next week or so. And we could have a follow-up that way. But again, because of Zoom security, we're doing this in a webinar format. Some of us have had problems with that in the past, and we know that anything related to CEU or BARD for that matter can draw interesting people. But I'm really thrilled that we had nearly 50 participants at the max, so that's great. And if there's any other questions right now, pose them, or I'm just going to suggest that you email Sasha or Ava. You check the OSIN website for information, and we will probably be sending you a follow-up email for a more interactive drop-in session if you have specific questions. There being no more Q&A, and us finishing in exactly an hour, I want to thank Sasha and Ava for a wonderful presentation, and I really want to thank all of you for joining us today. So we'll be in touch, and we appreciate your attendance and participation. Bye-bye.
Thank you.